prayer is seriously warranted for Phillip Rivers this weekend if he is put out on that field.
I'm very worried about him. He's a great guy. He was a great quarterback, arguably a Hall of Famer, definitely in some other people's eyes. We know what he can bring to the table when he was playing. The man hasn't played in 5 years.
The very first time you step on a football field is against that defense.
This is how I'm gonna be watching Sunday's game.
Well, Stephen A. was worried for Phillip Rivers' health last week, but the 44-year-old made it through unscathed, and he nearly upset the Seahawks in his first game back in almost 5 years. Rivers threw a touchdown and set up his team for the go-ahead field goal with under a minute left. But it wasn't enough as the Seahawks responded with their own field goal to win 18-16. Here's Phillip Rivers after the game.
Grateful. Grateful. Running out for warm-ups and all that, and out there for the anthem. And as the game just got going, I was just thankful, grateful that I was out there. And it was a blast. It was a blast, but obviously the emotions now are disappointment. Right? Disappointment. This isn't about me. We got a team that's scrapping like crazy to try to stay alive and get the postseason. So obviously we're all disappointed. Came up just short.
Damien Woody is joining us here in studio, but we've got to go to Stephen A., the guy who was worried about Phillip Rivers on Friday. So, Stephen A., are the Colts owed an apology after Phillip Rivers' performance?
Yes, they are, by me. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a grown-ass man, and I'm going to be fair-minded. And I definitely owe the Indianapolis Colts an apology. I'm going to stand right up here in national television. I'm saying I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. I was scared to death of Phillip Rivers. I was scared to death. I'm like, wait a minute. Do you know yesterday marked 1,800 days since the last NFL game that he played? 1,800 days. 5 years, okay? I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, oh, my God. He ain't played in 5 years. He's 44 years of age. He's a stationary target. He sure can't move now. And he going up against Seattle? What the hell are the Colts doing? This is criminal. Criminal. That's how I felt about it, okay? And then Quentin Nelson and that crew. And I'm looking up these names right now with Travis, with Jalen Travis, with Matt Goncalves, with Tanner Bartolini, Bernard Raymond. I'm looking at these brothers. They protected this man. He got hit 4 times the entire game. And Steichen, give him credit because they got the ball out of his hands relatively quickly. 16 of his 18 passes were for under 10 yards. Got rid of the ball real quick. Only threw for 87 yards in those situations. Only attempted, throwing beyond 10 yards about 7 or 8 times. But damn it, he was barely touched. And that offensive line did its job. And then I went back and I looked and I was like, damn, they have only given up 24 sacks the entire damn year. That offensive line does know how to protect its quarterback. And the Indianapolis Colts obviously knew they had a stout offensive line that was capable of playing at an elite level and protecting the quarterback. And that's exactly what they did. Again, it was a collective effort because Phillip Rivers is pretty damn smart. He's been around for a long time. Steichen, who he's very familiar with, pretty damn smart. You got to remember, Phillip Rivers' son, Gunner, who he was coaching in high school, he was running the same offense that they said they'd be running with the Colts and stuff like that. So he was familiar with the offense. All of those things come into play. But that offensive line protected that man all afternoon long. And obviously the Colts saw that a hell of a lot better than me and most people, because I ain't gonna front. I was scared to death for Phillip Rivers. Everybody was talking about, can he take him to the playoffs? I was like, can he get out of Sunday? Can he survive? Is he not gonna be carted off the field? Whether it's concussion or a leg injury or something. I was scared to death for the brother. And they showed up and they protected that man. They did their job. I got to give credit where credit is due. I got to stand the hell down and say it was much ado about nothing. My concerns were unfounded based on what I saw yesterday.
Well, listen, I don't owe anybody any type of apology in this situation. Why should I apologize for being concerned for Phillip Rivers' health? Why should I apologize for being skeptical about someone who hasn't played in 5 years? Stepping back into the National Football League. Like, my whole thing when it came to Phillip Rivers, initially I thought it was disrespectful. And from the simple fact of being disrespectful as far as You're talking about the best of the best in the world. And to think that someone who's been on the couch for 5 years to step back into this game at 44 years old and come back and play in a critical game on the road against that Seattle Seahawks defense. Now, what I will do today is I will give Phillip Rivers a round of applause because Phillip Rivers, my man, like, I was proud to watch him play. You know, like, Phillip Rivers moved around pretty good out there. He acquitted himself really well against arguably one of the best defenses in the National Football League in the Seattle Seahawks, and he had them a stone throw away from a critical win on the road. So, again, I'm not going to apologize, but I have much more admiration. Listen, Phillip Rivers is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, in my opinion, but to be able to have the courage to step onto the field after 5 years, I got to tip my cap. I give all the respect to that man, Phillip Rivers.
Okay, understanding that this network is owned by Disney, and Disney loves to kind of put on these heartwarming and heart-throbbing stories. That's what Phillip Rivers looked like yesterday. I'm not the person that's going to come in and say, hey, we don't owe them an apology, but you do not get no awards for just participating. Those are just, youth awards. Now, when you look at yesterday's game, the thing that stands out is that they struggled to move the ball consistently. And I know that they were going against a damn good Seattle Seahawks team. Okay, what is another concern? Completing only 2 passes thrown more than 5 yards down the field. So when you start to say, is somebody owed an award? Is somebody owed an apology? Somebody is owed an explanation of what's going to be the remedy moving forward. We have to push the ball downfield. And by the way, Indianapolis, if you want to make a deep playoff push, you have 2 of the more dominant defenses that you're going to have to face. That's the Texans and that's the Broncos. Those teams are not going to give you any type of success by merely relying on Jonathan Taylor just to run the football. And just to throw drag, slant, check down. It doesn't work like that. So for me, I was looking at a different lens where everybody would say, oh my God, he's gonna get killed. No. It was more or less to say, what is the strategy behind putting Phillip Rivers under center when now teams who are scouting you now understand that they don't have the ability to push the ball past 20 yards. And those are the things that if we're going to have any type of playoff run, we need to attack the defenses in many different phases and formats. And I don't see that being done in India.
Damian, forgive Cam his ignorance. Forgive his ignorance. I mean, America, forgive him. Forgive him. See, that's a young whippersnapper right there that's 36 years old. That's what he is. He's 36. He don't understand. See, Cam,